Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me today to talk to you a little bit about 3D printing. Obviously, to talk to you about 3D printing, I would need to have at least a 3D printer, or maybe many, or at least some 3D printed objects to show you, which I don't have today. But I will just cover it.
But you invited us to your place.
Some of you I recognize. I've seen you. You came to my place in August, so you have seen all the machines and all the objects that we are currently doing. For others, you will just use your imagination. I will first.
But we are welcome to you.
And you're welcome to come to our store, which is in London, next to here in
the city.
Farringdon, not very far. So first I will give you some insight. I suspect all of you have heard and read and seen about 3D printing because it's so hyped these days. But I'm not sure if many of you have a real knowledge and have touched it for yourself. So let me first cover a little bit of what it is, and then I will cover what it is not.
But you're the founder and the owner.
I'm the founder and owner of a company which is the largest retailer for 3D printers in Europe and possibly worldwide, but at least Europe.
It's called iMaker, not 3D printing.
I did not want to make so much publicity for myself, but yes, if you invite me to do so, my company is called iMaker, like I-M-A-K-R, and the reason we call it iMaker is because I, not like Apple, iPhone, but I like me, I am maker. I make things, because these days we call it 3D printing, but in my opinion, that's very little to do with printing. It's more about making, creating things. So iMaker is the name of my company. So back to it. 3D printing can do a lot. First thing, 3D printing is not new. Many people believe it's a new technology. It is not. 3D printing has been invented in 1960, which is like 50 years ago, right? Invented. And then it has been a reality, working something, functioning, from 81, 82, 83, you know, depending the technologies and where you start from. And already in 90, BMW, the famous car maker in Germany, bought their first 2 machines for 1 million Deutsche Mark at the time for their factories. So it's not new. The new thing, just to let you know, is that the price has gone down, hence people think about it for themselves, then they realize more what that could do. Many people try to innovate with this, then journalists come to it and see things, so they talk about it, and then it goes more and more in the hype. But it is not new. The truth is that today, you can actually buy a 3D printer that would actually work, like print things for real, for let's say roughly £1,000, anywhere between 500 and 2,000 if you like. So let's say 1,000 to make it simple. And these machines, at the moment, are capable of printing with a very good quality and a very good accuracy, mainly in plastic. ABS, PLA. ABS, a plastic made of oil. PLA, a plastic made of starch, maize, corn. And although plastic is quite limited in terms of material, a lot of things that are around ourselves is made in plastic, which means you can still do a lot of things, but not everything. That's for affordable printers. If you don't limit yourself to affordable printers, if you look into whatever 3D printing is, then you can already print pretty much anything. But the printers cost anywhere between 1,000 and 1 million, to make it simple. Typically, you can print in metal. A small metal 3D printer would cost you somewhere around 250,000. It would be that big, the shape construction that size, and you could do some jewelry, some parts, some engineering bits, some functioning, working, real metal. You could do nylon, you could do glass, you could do sand. Sand is one of my preferred because there is an experiment that have been done in the deserts, where some people go there with a 3D printer that use only the power of sun to both function and burn the sand, so you don't need material. The material is there. You don't need energy. The energy is there, and you can create pretty much anything made with that. So at the moment, it's more an experiment, but it's very promising. So you could print in anything: metal, glass, sand, plastic, nylon, and even food. Although it makes no sense to print in food, except for
Sandwich.
no, for sandwich it makes very, very much less sense, but it would make only sense for decorative things on top of a wedding cake or something, but you don't need that, do you? Well, you could like that, but you don't need that. Where it makes more sense is where you come to print with living cells, like bodies. So, as you very much know, we know today how to replace a part of your body with the same part of another body. The problem being that most of the time your body will reject it because your body is prepared to accept only itself and not others. So it's very difficult these days to find another person that has exactly the same DNA or whatever like you to make sure it will be accepted. The one that is likely to be accepted is yourself. And the idea here is that if you have, say, your liver is going sick, if you can pick a bit of your liver, which is not sick yet, then multiply that, then use that to create a new liver, and then install that instead of the previous one. Then you will not reject it because it's yours. And
Is this science fiction?
no, this is for real. No, I'm just giving you real examples. And another one which is even easier to realize is the skin. You know, the skin is the part of the body that reproduces itself quite easily, you know? Easier when the subject is younger and less when it is less young, but if you pick a little bit of your skin somewhere you don't really need it, in the back or somewhere, then you can easily reproduce that in a laboratory. The only thing is the way we reproduce that these days is flat. You would have a large sheet of your skin, and then from there you can create a material that you would 3D print in any shape, and there has been experiment very successful to recreate an ear for a person that lost it. So you can create an ear that is exactly the same like the other one. You see the shape, you reproduce that symmetry, and you create a functional real ear. Okay? This is just example.
That's cosmetic.
So that one might be between cosmetic and survival, depending where you take it and where you need it. There is so this is not living cells, but it is still medical. So yes, these are real markets these days, like crowns. Crowns to replace teeth. This is something where actually today I've seen a machine last year, so probably now it's even better, but last year, it was in November, I've seen a machine big like a fridge, costing $300,000, and that machine would be able to produce 5,000 crowns per 24 hours. So you can bet that that machine will pay for itself quite quickly, depending the cost of the crowns, but the cost of the crowns is quite high. Yeah. Another example, which is very important these days, a real market, is the ear aids. Yeah, for people with hearing difficulties. So the idea here is to use standardized electronics, but use 3D printing to get the perfect shape of your exact, accurate ear, so that you have a better comfort and it fits very well for yourself. And this is something I've been said, I did not check it for myself, but I've been said, worldwide there would be already more than 50% of these that are now 3D printed as opposed to any traditional way.
You make your own at home, right?
No. Again, I was saying 3D printing today is anything from cheap to expensive, and when we talk about these things, we are talking expensive stuff. The affordable machine that you can really have at home do mainly anything from toy, tools, parts, fix, lampshade, interior design, you name it, you can do it, as far as it's still plastic or mix of plastic. Okay, I don't want to be too long with this. It is super exciting, it is promising, it is probably an innovation, probably an innovation. At least it is an invention for a couple of years, so it's probably an innovation now. The only question is, where are we going? I suspect this is what you are looking into. Where are we going with this? And does it matter? I mean, is it just a toy for engineers and let them play, or does it matter? So you have already read and you will read tons of things and even crazy things about that. So some people say, wow, that is the new way for us developed countries to gain back our jobs lost to China, because China is just good to mass production, and with 3D printing we will onshore our production, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, if you think about it just 5 minutes, it makes no sense. Well, not in the short future. 3D printing is not about replacing mass production. 3D printing is about bespoke production. It's about me and myself, my needs now. So it is not going to replace mass production, but it is probably going to challenge mass production. Not replace it, challenge it. And the way to challenge it is because it will change ourselves. It will change our own position as opposed to what we buy. Today, we are more and more buyers. So some of us are designers. They are paid for that. They are employed as a product designer in a company, and they design some stuff. And that stuff then is prototyped and then produced, and then produced in mass, and then packed into boxes, and then sent into bulks to retailers. And these guys, they store that in their stores, and then they sell it to people. And then the rest of us, those that are not designers, they are only buyers. You need something, you go in the store and you buy it, which has not always been the case. I mean, in the past, we needed something, you do it. I mean, if you need a tool, you go break a branch of a tree and you make your tool if you need it. And then from there, some people were good at doing that kind of thing, and some others good at doing something else, and then they've been starting exchanging goods between you do that for me, I do this for you. And then from there, we specialized and specialized in more. And now we are today in an extreme situation where we just go buy things, and if you don't like something, you just go buy another one. I think with 3D printing, and some general tendency and trends, but 3D printing will accelerate that. We are more going to be able to obviously some of us will be able to create their things, but that's not the majority. But companies will be able to take advantage of 3D printing to kind of specialize, customize things for your needs. And today, mainly when you have a choice for a product is like color and size. So you have that product, and the most you can choose is, I would like to choose that color and that size, and that's it. But you cannot choose the shape of it. You cannot, and with 3D printing, because 3D printing is so powerful at bespoke, you will have a chance to see these websites and these vendors and manufacturers offer you more choice. And instead of just color and size, you say glasses, for example, instead of just, today you don't have choice with glasses. You have just a choice between products, but you can't really choose anything about the glass except maybe the lenses, perhaps the colors, and that's it. In the future, you will be able probably to say, okay, my face is that size here, and my nose is that shape. And not only that size, but also that shape. Because we know that Asian people, they have a very different shape of nose as opposed to a European and as opposed to African, and there are differences. And so the shape of this part of glass, I like this frame, I like this style, I just want it to fit me. So I would be able, in some way, to give my size and my dimension and got something made for me. And this is just an example, but that will be for everything. I go buy furniture, I like that piece of furniture, but I would like the handle to be not only my color, but my shape, and today, so I'm not saying, and nobody believes, that you're going to 3D print furniture. It makes no sense to go 3D print some cupboard, because it's big, because the cheapest way to make some furniture is to use wood, either plain wood or processed wood. So IKEA is good for long. I mean, you still go in our countries to IKEA to buy furniture, but handles, corners, and some bits inside of some things, that makes sense. And today, if you go to IKEA buy some furniture, they offer you a choice between 5 or 6 different handles, no more. Because if they would like to offer you 30 or 50, but they need to stock them all. It's expensive, they will not sell that many. So this is where we are going to see things. And the other thing that we are going to see is, again, new jobs. Because these days, this is very important to see that, because sometimes I demonstrate some of our 3D printed objects which come out of the printer, they are assembled, no, not assembled, they are moving, they are functioning, and they have not been assembled. They come out of the printer as is, finished. Although they can open and close and move around, they function, they've not been assembled. Some people tell me, wow, this is bad because this will suppress the job of the person that used to assemble things. That's perhaps true. But at the same time, you're going to have more jobs for people to design, think, create. And all of us, with differences obviously between countries, but all of us, we tend to push our population, our young people, more to schools. And then we reach a point where you have tons of pupils coming out of school with a certain degree, a certain knowledge, and they can't find a job to match that what they've learned. And then, to make it simple, you have done 5 or 6 years of study and you go sell food in a McDonald's because you could not find a job matching your expertise. And I think with 3D printing, we are raising the level of the jobs that are involved in there, not only to improve the printers themselves, but also to create new objects. And obviously, in the future, it will be more and more a job to design and sell a design, as opposed to create an object and sell the object, which will obviously raise interesting questions, especially for countries, in terms of, let's say, taxes. Because today it's quite easy, well, not always obvious, but at least easy, to say, okay, goods enter my country, goods go out my country, I take a tax when it enters and when it goes out. But what if the file enter my country and things are created in my country, but the design comes from somewhere else? How and where do I take my tax to make my country sustain? Which is an important subject. Another one being, obviously, if I create a beautiful design which is very clever, makes sense, and I sell it to one person, and that person told me they would just make one, but in fact they make 1 million. Raise tons of questions, and all these questions are very interesting to discuss, and they create opportunity to create new jobs, because there is a job which is thinking, developing, creating software around this. Then another question would be, who will benefit that? Is it only the developed countries that will benefit that because they are already a bit in advance on that? If I look today, what the printers that we are selling at iMaker, where do they come from? Mainly from the US. We've got maybe 12, 15 different brands that we resell. 3 of them are from the US, MakerBot, Solid Doodle, and Cubify. One from the UK here, used to be Bits for Bytes, now they are called Cubex. And one from Netherlands, with the Ultimaker. There are quite a couple in Germany and in Netherlands which we're not partner of, but they are there. And the other one, they are from China, say FlashForge and Plus and Mini and that kind of machines. I've not seen any from Africa yet. I've not seen any from South America yet, although they are, I know, but maybe not at the level where they sell that to us.
Japan? No?
Surprisingly, not that many from Japan. Surprisingly, not that many from Japan.
India?
I don't know.
India, I've got some people coming to me and saying, okay, we are preparing something. Do you want to resell us when we are ready? But I've not. Yes, I've bought one from India, but I must say I did not keep it to sell. But yes, anyway, so because we have like 12 or 15 that we sell, but we have received like maybe 50 that we have not decided to keep, you know, obviously. So okay, So well, let me summarize that because we don't want to spend the whole day on that. 3D printing is very, very promising. 3D printing is today so hyped that there are quite many wrong ideas coming around that, and it's not that easy to kind of sort what is true and false in there. And that's it pretty much. So we are happy to help people find out. So we do mainly sell printers and also services around that, like including training, and we provide files. We design in 3D. We print for people, and we do a little bit of consulting. So sometimes people from mainly companies, but it could also be a country coming to us and asking, okay, what is in my particular situation, in my company, in my country, what should I do? What could we do? What is possible to do around 3D printing? We are happy to help in that matter. So I suspect that you've got my details.
So you're a smart partner. Yeah, we do have that.
That's it.